dad, Reverend Gerhard Oberheu, was a missionary in India from 1922 to the mid-1940s, 23 years. And that's where all 7 kids of the Oberheu family were born. Victor and his 2 brothers, and the 4 daughters. So I'm all about history. I love history, especially when it comes to family history. You know, it's so important for the kids here that are sitting here, the grandkids, for them to know, you know, the history behind their grandfather, their great-grandfather, and going back to India and how they all came about, whether it was from the roots from Iran, the roots in Ireland, the roots in Germany. So I started doing some research and trying to find things and put things together to pass on, so Victor can pass on to his grandkids, so when we're all gone, they know and they can pass it on to their kids. And I don't know if you know this, Pop, or not, but when your dad was in India, he was required for him to send correspondences back and forth with the board of the missionaries that kind of controlled all of the missionaries in India, China, and several other different countries.
But that was that in St. Louis, they had to send the letter?
That's right, that's right. And there was a gentleman named Dr. Brand. He was the executive director of the missionary that kind of controlled all of the different pastors that went on these missions. And Gerhard, Victor's dad, and Nellie, Victor's mom, you know, they got married at a very young age in the early 20s. And right after they were married, they got on the ship and sailed off to India. You know, 45-day boat trip, train, buses, and South India, very tropical, no running water, no electricity. So you can imagine, just in your early 20s, we have some grandkids here in the early 20s. I'm not sure if they can grasp and appreciate what that means, you know, just kind of giving up and going over there. Anyway, getting back to kind of my point here, what I found was that they're required to send these correspondences, and the Concordia Historical Institute in St. Louis keeps all of these correspondences. So, Victor, I don't know if you know this, but they have 5 different boxes there from your dad, over 1,500 pages of original documents that not only he wrote, because he would have to constantly communicate with Dr. Brand and others, but also your mom, Nellie, when they were on furloughs in the United States, or when she was there by herself, she would have to send correspondences. And they collect all of these correspondences and they keep them there. So I reached out to them, and my Martha and our kids, our gift to you is a printed and scanned copies of all of those scanned all of those correspondences. So it's about 1,600 pages.
Now I know what to do at night.
You're going to have plenty of time. But I think not only there's a lot of value here, but for you all also just to be able to kind of see what your mom and dad went through while they were over there and back, whether it was in Paducah or South Dakota or other places. There's a lot of great information here I'm sure the family never knew about. But also, you know, you can kind of pass it on to the kids. So I just want to give you a quick little excerpt here. This is a letter that your dad wrote to Dr. Brand, and it's dated March 15th, 1933. And the second part of it, the first part of it is business. The second part of it is, and I have the joyful privilege of announcing the arrival of a fine baby boy at our house yesterday morning, March 14th at 11:25 a.m. Mother and child are both doing nicely, and all are well, all happy that it is a boy. That's number 2. Corky, that is what we call the older boy. I think that's John. I don't know, John, did you know John's nickname was Corky when he was a kid?
No.
Well, we're gonna see John in June when we go down to Jacksonville, so I'm gonna remind him about that personally. Corky was so excited when he heard the boy cry that he could not finish his meal. Kindest regards and greetings, sincerely, Gerhard Oberheu. And then, on April 5th, just a few days later, he reports that you finally had a name, Victor Louis, because they didn't have a name for you back then, on March 15th, and that you had been baptized. So there's a lot of great information here about the family and about your experiences there as a child that you may or may not aware of. So I have 9 books here, enough to keep you busy, 1,500 pages. They're prioritized by date, so I hope you enjoy reading them.